Have you guys ever wondered why the hammerhead has a hammer-like head? And this is a video that I thought might help some of you guys who might not necessarily know why hammerhead sharks are the only sharks that have a head quite like this. So, if you guys are not already familiar with hammerhead sharks, these are one of the most unique sharks out there, and one of my personal favorites. Their favorite food source is stingrays. Now, a lot of people, if you don't know about stingrays, they are like sharks. They are made of cartilage. They're in the same ray family, ray and scales, which are very similar to sharks. And they also have a barb. Here's the cool thing about hammerhead sharks. They really like to eat stingrays. This is their main food source. Hammerhead sharks are actually entirely immune to the barb on a stingray. So hammerhead shark's head, which is very, very unique design. There's actually a lot of different designs of the hammerhead's shape of the actual nose section here. If you look at something like a great hammerhead like what I have here, it's obviously going to be more straight. If you have something like a scalloped hammerhead, it'll be more like this. Bonnet heads are like this. Very, very unique, and if you have time, you should definitely check out all the different types of heads. There's some that are much longer. It's a very, very unique shark species that has a lot of different versions of them. So, the reason why they have their head like this is for a couple reasons. One, sharks have a bunch of sensors here in their nose. These are electronic sensors. These help them to detect prey when they're moving. Have basically a bunch of advanced more sensors, another sense that sharks use to hunt. Now, one of the favorite things that stingrays like to do is they take their little wings here and they bury themselves in sand. This is now next to invisible when it's sitting on the ocean bottom. A hammerhead shark can swim along and will swim like this, and this gives it a couple of things that it can do. One, it's getting a wider range with the sensors. Instead of being like this, it's going back and forth, sweeping, looking for the stingrays. Another thing that this actually allows you to do is, if you pay attention to where the eyes are located on a hammerhead shark, they're located right here on the sides, not on the front, not like most sharks where they actually have a straight nose like this, and they're just sitting next to the gills. On a hammerhead, if you notice, the gills sit much lower than where the actual eyes is. This actually gives a shark, especially the hammerhead, a much larger range of view with its eyes than what other sharks get, which allows it to keep more spatially aware. Because believe it or not, a lot of sharks like great whites, mako sharks, bull sharks, tiger sharks, they will eat hammerheads. So the fact that they actually have this is actually a form of both being a predator and being actually prey. This is a shark that would be considered on the food list for other larger sharks. So by swimming like this, they actually get much more range of view than what other sharks get. Another thing is, this actually helps them swim faster and actually use less energy because of the way it also lets them turn a lot sharper. So what they will do is they will go around, they will find a stingray on the bottom, they'll then use their head to try to pin said stingray. Now say the stingray gets up and it manages to dart away. This is a very nimble stingray. It's very nimble. Not a lot of sharks are going to be able to catch this. But a hammerhead with the head design that can turn, one of the sharpest turning sharks out there, can turn, chase down the stingray, and actually get the kill, which is very interesting to me. Also, another thing is that I personally think, and I find very intriguing, like I said earlier, how the stingray barb can't actually hurt a hammerhead shark. I am curious, and this is just something that I don't believe this is actually scientifically proven, that hammerhead sharks, one of the reasons why their eyes are here is another defense mechanism to a stingray's barb. Because if you noticed, if a shark has a stingray pinned, it's less likely that a stingray's barb is going to actually get into its eye. Like we stated, the eye on the hammerhead actually sits above the gill slot here. So it's very unlikely that a stingray barb is actually going to be able to penetrate anywhere on the vulnerable parts of the hammerhead. It's going to most likely pin here, maybe on the bottom of the jaw. This is the most, if you ever look at great hammerhead pictures of older sharks, they have a lot of scarring up on their nose. They have a lot of scarring right underneath their jaws. They might have some scarring next to their pectoral fins, but you're not going to notice any real scarring right next to the eyes, maybe some near the gills, but probably not. That's just another very cool thing about hammerheads and why I find them so fascinating. Now, another thing that I would say to keep in mind about the hammerhead shark, and another great reason why it has this design, is like we stated with the sensors it has in its nose, the electronic sensors, it's going to let it, I know we talked about wider range of view, it's also going to let this shark be a very good nighttime hunter. This is a shark that would do pretty decent at night. It's also one of the very few sharks that we know that school up during night. And these are sharks that will go, we don't know why. This is not scientifically proven by any means. We really don't know why they do it. But hammerhead sharks will group up just at random points. They'll group up for a couple hours during the day, during the night, and they will be in that group for just a couple hours. They don't hunt. They're not a group hunter. They're individual hunting sharks. And it seems to only be things like scalloped hammerheads, not really great hammerheads, and it seems to only be females. It's a very interesting topic. I would have to do a lot more research to give you guys a full explanation or a better explanation. But when it comes down to it, the reason that the hammerhead shark has this hammerhead features, or like we said, a couple, it gives it more sensors in the nose. Lorraine of Apulsi, I'm murdering that pronunciation, but it's a sensor that every single shark has up here in the nose. It lets it help electronic signals like stingrays hiding underneath sand. The other sharks only have that, they don't have the same head size as a hammerhead, so it's much more sensors in the nose. It gives it that more maneuverability, lets it turn a lot sharper to go after small, nimble stingrays, gives it more protection because it has you can see much more with its eyes, with a bigger point of view, especially when it's swimming like this. I mean, if you have a shark that is swimming like this, like normal sharks, you don't have a lot of head motion. You look at hammerheads, they will completely swing their head like this, and you'll actually see where they will come at you, and they'll swing their entire thing, so they can actually be staying in front of them. And they also obviously can still, because this is more like what you'd see on prey. If you ever look at predators and prey, especially like with bears, wolves, predators tend to have their eyes set more forward on their face, whereas in prey tend to have their eyes completely more on the side. So if you look at a hammerhead shark, it does have more what you would call prey eyes. It strikes me as a creature that maybe isn't the best predator, but that would completely fool you. In my opinion, the hammerhead shark is probably the most successful predator we have in the ocean when it has to do a specific task, because it is probably the best creature out there when it comes to hunting stingrays. Because you gotta remember, stingrays buried in the ground, they're next to invisible. I mean, people step on these, they get stung all the time. Hammerhead sharks can find them, dig them out, pin them down, eat them. I mean, it's a very fascinating creature. Anyways, I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this breakdown of why a hammerhead has this hammer-like head. Like I said, you definitely should, on your own time, research more into hammerhead sharks and the different type of species there are, because there are so many and they're so fascinating creatures. You have, obviously, your great hammerhead, which actually are some of the largest sharks out there. Most people don't credit them with their size. They can get up to 20 feet long. That's as big as a great white shark. So you will have 15, 16 foot long hammerheads that are massive creatures. And no one seems to quite grasp that they actually can be as big as great white sharks. And with so many different species, you have the obviously scalp hammerheads, and these are sharks that, as far as I remember, there's never been a recorded fatal attack by a hammerhead shark, but these are aggressive sharks. And they also live very shallow, because keep in mind, they hunt stingrays. You will oftentimes be able to find videos of these sharks being in 2, 3, 4 feet of water, hunting stingrays right next to popular beaches. In fact, you'll see some fun videos of stingrays coming right on top of the water, jumping over the water with a hammerhead in 2, 3 feet of water in a crowded beach, chasing it down. It's very interesting. You guys should definitely find some videos to check it out on your free time. Anyways, I hope this kind of taught you a little bit more about hammerhead sharks, why they have the nose. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to comment down below what you guys want to see, what other sharks you want me to cover. We're going to keep doing some more shark content, so make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Join the Discord link down below in the description. Hope you guys have enjoyed this one, and make sure, if you like sharks like I do, to subscribe so you can catch more videos. Anyways, I will catch you guys in the next one.